What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to another Resplendent review. This time I'm going to be taking a look at Lucina, and even if you don't have FEH Pass, you could still use this on regular Lucina or if you have built up mass Lucina, and this just gives me a nice opportunity to look back at an old unit and give updated builds and just go over my opinion and how Resplendent stats affect her. So that said, I hope you guys do enjoy and let us begin.
I defy destiny!
Lucina as a Gen 1 unit was rather min-maxed, so she can make pretty nice use of Resplendent stats because they do bring her up to speed with the, newer Sword Infantry units. Of course, that's a very competitive class type, but just to show you, she has the same offensive stat spread as Byleth with 36 attack and 38 speed, so which is pretty decent actually. Now, this is not to show that she's better than Byleth because she's not. Creator's Sword is a really insane weapon, but this just goes to show you how the extra stats can help her. And, Maz Lucina unfortunately is not going to be receiving the benefits of a Resplendent version, even though she's practically just a Lucina ever since she was released. So, yeah, Lucina is actually going to be stronger, but of course Maz Lucina is way easier to plus and merge, is much more cost effective if you have all of the free copies that were given before. So the Resplendent stats can definitely help her. She does have pretty nice HP stat at 45 for a Sword Infantry. Unfortunately, her weapon refine is definitely pretty old. It has got a Spectrum Bond as its refine. Spectrum Bond is really nice, but of course more effects would have helped her a lot. And bonds are usually not the best in the player phase because they are hard to position and they are better in the enemy phase. However, at the cost of 20 divine dues, she also has access to Seal Falchion, which is actually a pretty nice weapon once you're not at full HP, because it will give you +5 to all of your stats, and that is going to be active in both phases regardless of your position. It's just that on your first combat, you're not going to be getting the benefit of that. Lucina still has potential depending on what kind of weapon refine Seal Falchion gets, because Horstrom isn't due for a weapon refine, and it will benefit Lucina a lot as well. And in some cases even more, because she's an infantry unit, she has got access to skills which Horstrom does not, and it might be a similar case to where Seliph has got access to Divine Tearfing and can arguably make a better use out of that weapon compared to his father. So if something like that happens, then Lucina can definitely be a much better unit if Seal Falchion does have a stacked effect, which I think it probably will. So Lucina will have two good options, and Seal Falchion is probably going to be the better one depending on what kind of weapon refine it gets. And because it's just going to be refined in future and for a 5-star exclusive unit, it will probably have a pretty nice effect, I'm hoping. As it stands right now, it does help because if you're running an enemy phase build with Falchion Spectrum Bonds, then it does help you, and the extra speed can also help her run damage reduction skills much better. But of course, there's really insane competition from stuff like Marita, Larce, Fallen Ike, all of those recent units who have really busted weapons. I'm probably not going to be having if you should invest into this kind of Resplendent unit or not for 5-star logged units, because I feel like you don't have that choice. With stuff like Resplendent Shida and Resplendent Marth, they were 3-star, 4-star units, which you could think about building up, but here Lucina is still a 5-star logged unit, and she does appear on the weekly revivals, so either you spend orbs on her to plus and merge her, or you don't. So it really depends how much of a fan you are, and you cannot really easily invest into her like you could with some of the easily available 3-star, 4-star units. So I feel like that section doesn't really offer much. And as for her builds, if you just want to build up, a budget Lucina, if you never really built one up, and I still know people who have never really pulled Lucina, you're going to be getting a free neutral IV Lucina with FEH Pass, so you could definitely build her. She could be pretty nice in Arena Assault because she is a Dragon Slayer after all. You could just run a budget Fury Desperation build. You could also use, triple renewal basically by having renewal in Slot B and Sacred Seal, and she also gets the healing from Falchion, so she can basically become a medic with her assist skill. So that's another type of build that you could go for on a budget. And with Seal Falchion, she can of course be more versatile and does not have to worry about positioning as much, because Seal Falchion is going to be active after the first combat, because Fury's self-recall does activate that. If you don't really have her at plus and merge, this can still be run on mid-invested Lucina. All of these builds are still possible, but of course they have their max potential with plus and merge. So as I said before, because of the Spectrum Bond Refine, it does work the best in enemy phase because it's much easier to position your unit in enemy phase rather than player phase. So she can easily run a distant counter build, and at plus and merge with stuff like a damage reduction skill, even with her low resistance, she can still function as a pretty nice tank And as I said, the high speed definitely gives her the flexibility of running damage reduction skills. And if you can have access to plus speed IV, then in my opinion, that's the best IV spread for her, which you should go for. You could also run Seal Falchion with a push skill. So push skill will give you more stats than Fury and will still activate Seal Falchion, so it's a really good skill. And self-recall skills are in general going to be really nice with Seal Falchion. You could also run a Unity skill. She doesn't really need attack speed Unity to be honest, other than neutralizing debuffs to her speed. Attack defense Unity also works because she can get really fast, and lull attack speed is definitely an option. Joint drive skills are universally really useful, and even here it's the same thing. It does help her with the damage reduction skills. Otherwise you could definitely use an Oath skill. You could also run her without distant counter if you want to with Kestrel Stance. So Kestrel Stance has become a seal as well, so you could just have that, and she can be extremely fast to make use of the damage reduction skill. I'm not the biggest fan of these kinds of tank builds which don't have distant counter, because she can definitely retaliate back and take care of a lot of ranged units, but still this is an option nonetheless because the tier 4 stance skill does have the guard effect, so that can definitely help you, and the extra speed definitely helps you with the damage reduction skill. Seal Falchion can also be used with Fury 4 of course. Time Pulse is going to be a pretty nice option with Gale Force, so that's always going to be a good thing if you like that weapon. And you could also use her with Blue Flame because it does have the inherent synergy with the Spectrum Bond Refine, because both of these skills require you to be near the ally. And with Special Spiral you could retaliate back with Blue Flame, which is going to be pretty nice with something like Joint Drive Attack. She can also use some other weapons if you are not really thinking of running Falchion or Seal Falchion. Sling Edge can basically allow you to have a 4-turn Gale Force, so if you want a Gale Force unit, Lucina can definitely do it because she does have that speed stat. So something like this could be used in Aether Raid's offense on an Air Force team, I guess. And you could also have the option of making her have Ninja Katana because she does have the speed to quad attack, and with Flashing Blade Force true damage, she can basically get 20 true damage if she hits all 4 of her hits. And this can of course be used with Gale Force or any other special. So Ninja Katana is really nice option with her if you do have a 4-star Z-Hark lying around. She can also be used in Aether Raid's offense as a tank because she can actually reach over 70 HP just with 2 mythics, which is really amazing for avoiding any kind of panic manner, which is really great. And she could run Spurn or Null Follow-Up in her slot B, and she can be run with Carrot Cudgel, which is going to be pretty nice for avoiding the debuffs to your attack. So that could be used if you don't really want to use Falchion. And I really wouldn't recommend using Falchion for a tank build in Aether Raid's offense because it requires an ally to be right beside her, and that is extremely unsafe in Aether Raid's offense where you could easily get sniped by after a Dancer or from a Restore Trap. So it's always really nice for the other units other than the tank to be one space away from the main tank so that they do not get sniped especially. So that's why Carrot Cudgel is the better weapon to be used in Aether Raid's offense. And of course if you do have a plus 10 Lucina, then you could definitely use her in Arena, but unfortunately she will require our dual infantry. She does have really nice HP stat, so you could use stuff like Panic Smoke or Sudden Panic, but Null Follow-Up can also work pretty nicely against these units who have auto follow weapons and can stop your follow-up attacks. And Falchion's Spectrum Bonds does have pretty good synergy in something like Arena, where units mainly stay near each other, and she can also slay a lot of dragons there. So that is going to be my review on Resplendent Lucina. I hope you guys enjoyed. I want to thank all of my YouTube members for their constant support. And if you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously. And be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes make about as much sense as having all of these genuine units like Lucina being still 5-star locked units. So that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.